Greetings, collective. Welcome back to Tarot Parlor. So today the veil is very thin. I've been getting some very important messages, some very clear visuals in my scrying today. So we're going to be sharing those visuals in just a minute. I've done a sketch. We'll go over those. But I've also pulled some cards to go with the energies that are coming through with this message. So go ahead and grab a cup of tea. Put this on pause if you need to, and then come back and we'll go ahead and break down some of these images that are coming through for the message that we need to hear right now. Okay, so the first card that I think is bringing us this energy is the Hierophant. And in this card, the Hierophant is actually the Buddha, and he's sitting on his altar, or, with the keys in front there, okay, and his solar disc, etc. His lotus flower, or is that his chrysanthemum? So that's his emperor chrysanthemum, and he's got the keys there as well. So he has high position, he has wisdom and knowledge, okay, spiritual and mundane, and the people are honoring him and asking for blessings and so on because of those things, that plane that he comes from, okay, where he's balanced. And that is the plane where he is gifting us this wisdom today, is straight from the chrysanthemum and those keys of wisdom and knowledge of spiritual and mundane. So this is a divine message that I think we need to hear. So first, before we get into that, I will say one of the things that came in was the energy of our past dating lives. Could also include your current partner right now. It's possible that the people that you have dated, or the majority of the people that you've dated, your suitors, male or female, whether you're a male or a female, your suitors may not have been genuine. They may have seemed genuine. You may thought that you were the aggressor. So, of course, this person wasn't sent by the enemy, so to speak. But I'm telling you, the majority of your suitors, for the collective that I'm speaking to today, have been literally placed in your life by some writer, okay? Someone that was controlling the script in your life. And we get confirmation with that with our first card here on our dating question. So it was the Emperor, and this is more of a dark Emperor. As you can see, this Emperor is sitting in what looks like a war room or office. He's up in the sky, kind of like a Trump Tower suite. Correct? Isn't that what that looks like? He's got someone here that's his assistant that does some of his bidding. He's smoking his cigarette. He's too cool for business. He's untouchable because of where he sits in the sky. So not all emperors are good, and this one isn't. Okay? He may do a lot of good for a lot of people, but a lot of people have paid for everything with their firstborn and the shirt off their back. And over again. Okay? And this person loves to control the script. He wants to put who he wants in your life. And I know you feel like there's that Wizard of Oz that's been behind the curtain controlling things for a long time. That it's just a coincidence that, wow, I knew that person before I knew that person and I didn't remember it. So how did they show back up in my life so randomly? Coincidence has been played masterfully in your life. Coincidence and nostalgia to motivate you towards groups of people and people that you've dated, and even possibly people that you're living with or married to. Wow. So this Emperor has been quite the stinker. Okay? Quite an ornery fool. And then we've got the Stairway to Light. Okay. So this is where you're at right now spiritually. You are being led away from and out of this dominion, out of this control. I do believe there is going to be a tower moment. And I don't mean, Trump Tower moment. I mean like this emperor, okay? So it could be either side. It's not just Trump's side, it's the other side too. There's this dirty emperor there's one on both sides, on every side. So these emperors, multiple, are going to be having towers. And before that happens, or during this process, you're going to be led out of the situations. It's possible, see, there's peace here. So you may be in a very peaceful moment in your relationship. This could be the time to leave. Or this could be the time to bring that person with you because they need to be leaving the situation as well. Maybe, it's time for them to confess. Or they didn't know, they were masterfully played as well. But it's time for you to leave the situation. You alone or all of you. You're going to be divinely led, and it's going to be a peaceful departure. There will be no problems with this departure. The path or the stairs or whatever you need, direction and so on, is going to show up for you and guide you right on out. There will be no problems. Like the slaves being freed from Egypt kind of thing. So that's going to happen for you. And then after you're free and clear, there's going to be a tower. Or if there's not a full tower, okay, their life will be empty like it should be. They won't be able to have access over people anymore. Not in the magnitude or the masses that they have. Okay, this card has come back in. It came out this week in another reading. And as you can see, this is either you watching your stats, okay, and you're not happy with them, you want change. Or this is your jealous enemy who is bidding to this emperor constantly, who's being your worst advocate to go to that emperor and say, where can I control them? Here's the stats. What can I do? What can we mess with next in order to get them to run the race we want them to run? And like I said, Divine wants to free you from this mess. In order to do it, this is going to appear. So you've got to stay at peace, keep your mouth shut, and be ready for it when it happens. Okay? This is going to be a chrysanthemum emperor power of divine coming in for you. See the enlightenment? You're going to be totally enlightened with wisdom and knowledge and a complete pathway to elevate you out of this situation. It will not be a downgrade. It will be level or elevated when you leave. Okay, so there's your message. That's what's being said. Now, let's go over these symbols in the scrying message that we have today. So with these symbols that we have today, the first thing, all of these symbols came from a Western. I only saw the first two letters of a Western. It was wooden letters nailed together like an old-fashioned Western sign, and the stern was taken off, which is funny because Howard Stern just came to mind when I said that was missing. But the wooden letters of WE were still left of the Western sign. And right behind the E, just diagonally behind the we, is a teepee. Now, when I saw this, I literally envisioned a theme park in a place somewhere in Australia. I know. And I feel like this is a something that may have existed at one point in time that is not running now. If it did exist, it doesn't exist now. But it was a theme park that existed once upon a time. Somewhere. And I'm getting vibes of Australia. Okay, I don't know if that's the case. But they were depicting an American Western front, the Western Front of America. And that was the theme park in another country. And so, of course, they have an Indian teepee right there. And that was one block. That was one block message. Stern is missing. It isn't needed. The only thing that was needed or in unity was we. Okay, that's all that's left. This is what we need to focus on, because I believe there may have been somebody that was kidnapped, and they may be in location to this teepee, or it has to do with the ley line to the pyramids. Something like that. And I'll tell you why later. So there's a possible ley line connection to pyramids, or connection to this teepee and somebody missing. In the next image, there was a fairy, and the wings were straight back. I didn't draw them as straight back as they were. And the fairy was kneeled down and angry. Just fed up and angry. Okay? And then the little fairy disappeared. Let me raise this up now. And an Anunnaki appeared and was facing this direction. Okay? So a whole body. I only drew the upper body of the Anunnaki. And it was the bird Anunnaki was facing this direction. So first it was a fairy. The Anunnaki did not do anything to it. The fairy disappeared, and then the Anunnaki appeared. Okay? And then in the top one, we see a Native American girl, or somebody in a Native American outfit and wig, or her hair is similar to that, so they put her in an outfit like that, like a stereotype. And she's tied up by her hands in some abandoned area behind a jungle leaf. Now, I don't know what this big giant jungle leaf the size of a surfboard has to do with anything, but it is the size of like a surfboard or a small surfboard, and she's there behind it. This could be a wax figure, or it could be a person. Okay? But again, in this part of the vision, I felt that somebody was abandoned or kidnapped, and that could be her. Okay? I don't know what the fairy and the Anunnaki have to do with this situation. I didn't look up their meanings yet. But facing this strip of information, okay, so this is how it played out. It started here and went upward, was a pharaoh. And this pharaoh started off as a pharaoh. And then I saw the Anunnaki looking at the pharaoh. First, it was the fairy looking at the pharaoh and was very angry with the situation especially. And then the fairy disappeared. The Anunnaki appeared and was looking and communicating to this pharaoh. Then the pharaoh disappeared or faded. And what faded in was... So it's like the pharaoh stayed there almost, okay, didn't really move, or what faded away was the outer appearance, like the robes, the hat, and the staff. That kind of faded out, and it faded in a new image of them where it was a cobra staff and a sorcerer hat and more of a sorcerer robe with, at that point, a parrot. Okay? So, a Jafar. So we started off with a pharaoh and then a Jafar. When it was a pharaoh, there was an Anunnaki to the side of the pharaoh. When it was Jafar, it was just a Jafar. Okay? So what I feel is that, here, let me go over a couple of meanings with you. So this staff, the crook staff, or the pharaoh staff, or the cobra staff, can represent a shepherd from a ruler. Okay, so it can represent being ruled and protected from danger. It can represent divine guidance and support, or leadership, guidance and support. Someone from authority is guiding and ready to support you. It can represent authority, as in a pharaoh, which is why I saw a pharaoh at first. Okay. And it can also represent divine power, which is maybe why the Anunnaki are there. So the divine power has come in with a pharaoh authority, okay, offering protection and support and guidance from a danger that you've been in for far too long. So this image is trying to help whoever it is that is abandoned in this theme park. So if it isn't an actual person, this could be a stereotype from representing the collective in some way. And what we're being guided to do is, of course, if it's somebody abandoned in this theme park, authorities should go protect them. But if it's a spiritual meaning, what we're being guided to do is to let the gods take over. So when that pathway comes in to guide you out, take it. Go to the light, take it, and let divine take over from there. Because you've tried to make this tower tumble and you're not able to do it. And if you did, there'd be so much left injustice-wise that you don't have the ability to take care of all yourself. But these Anunnaki and this fairy and this pharaoh do. I am not sure if Jafar was playing a good role or a bad role in this. I really don't know. The parrot and so on. So, well, you will know yourself if Jafar has been a negative kind of oppression. To me, Jafar has been a negative oppression. So that's possibly the thing, is that Jafar is going to be, exposed. Okay. This pharaoh is going, because he's hiding behind a pharaoh image right now. The pharaoh is going to step away. He's going to pull his definitions, his mask that's being used, the pharaoh mask. The pharaoh mask is going to be pulled away, and Jafar is going to be exposed. And he's going to be exposed possibly for what he's doing to the Western world and to the fairy peoples. And the Anunnaki may be stepping in to help. Okay, I don't know. That's a possibility. But the gods are going to be taking care a lot of this tower power, this Jafar tower power that we have not been able to take care of ourselves, that have been out of our hands, that we've been powerless towards. Okay? So that's the message. Let's go ahead and see if there are any more cards that can help us today. Okay, the Hermit. So you're being guided to go within and search your truth. Because there is something here that relates to either your past or something you're going to face or something that you have buried. Okay? And since we're talking about relationships today, that could mean that you've got something in your relationships that all of this relates to, and you need the divine help. Start with your truth. Because truth is what's going to expose this Jafar. And you got to be walking in truth in order to get your ticket out of here and not fall with Jafar. Okay, is there anything else we need to know? It's going to be hard for you because you've been here, because you've been tempted, because you thought this person was your lifeline, the one that brings you help. As you can see, this is the Two of Swords, and this girl can't decide which cell she wants. Okay, And that's kind of where you're at. You don't have a better offer. You haven't had a better offer. So you've just been juggling these two offers and you've been sticking around in this tower. But like I said, if you start seeking truth and, do the hermit thing, when we do the hermit, we do cut off those, those parts of ourselves where we are seeking self, right? Where we're like being selfish or anything like that, or vanity. So you got to close down vanity. You got to close those things down for a little while and seek truth. And don't be looking for the big sell right now. There is a choice to be made, and you do want to make the right choice. Okay. One last card to help us to go forward. The Empress energy is here to bring you abundance. The tower that you are in, the person controlling this world, okay, this tower world, is only ever going to be offering you this. Sometimes you'll get a little bonus so you can get a little extra, and sometimes it can go for a little while, but you'll never be out of this completely. You'll always fall back into it. To be in the Empress power and abundance, again, seek your truth, cut off your vanities, and get ready to follow the light when it comes in. Be blessed.